Welcome back everybody to the Andy McKenzie Career Mode series. Today we wrap up Andy McKenzie's regular season with the Houston Texans. It's week 16 to begin against the 9-5 Jacksonville Jaguars. The Texans come into this game 10-4 with 8 straight victories, and they have a chance to go into the postseason with easily the most momentum behind any team. Here is McKenzie in the first quarter, rolling out and getting off to a good start. There's Malcolm Riley on the deep comeback. McKenzie just doing what he does, 15 yards quickly. Then 1st and 10, McKenzie on the post, hits Riley once again. And that puts the Texans into Jacksonville territory with a 19-yard completion. On 3rd down later, Brandon Oliver moves the chains. They get down to the 23, now a play fake from McKenzie. Flag down, wide open, Josh Hill inside the 5, but who is this penalty on? It comes back as the Texans get flagged for another holding call. So they face 2nd down and 13 at the 33-yard line. The blitz is sent and McKenzie counters. There's DeAndre Hopkins now on the outside with a big catch. They make it 3rd and 2 where Brandon Oliver gets the carry and they get enough to move the sticks. At the 13-yard line, McKenzie back to the air and Riley makes the catch. They get inside the 5 to the 1-yard line. A 6 of 6 start for Andy McKenzie, 4 of those going to Malcolm Riley. 1st and goal, Brandon Oliver punches it in for a very good start to this game as the Texans march down the field and take a 7-0 lead. Now we'll take this into the 2nd quarter as Oliver continues to get some carries. He runs up the middle here and gets 6 yards. Then 3rd down and 5, McKenzie with time, hooks up with Jalen Strong who falls for the catch, and they move the chains. Riley now in the slot as McKenzie calls his own number, but the defender gets back up to make the tackle as McKenzie only gets 4. Looked like he might get a lot more on that play, but instead now 3rd and 6, there's a check down, and it looks like Oliver is stopped shy of the marker by Telvin Smith. The Texans then had to punt and the Jaguars promptly tied the game. Continuing on here in the first half, McKenzie finds Hopkins once again, remaining very efficient. They get close to a 1st down. And we'll go back to Oliver here on 2nd and inches. A good carry. We saw that running game do a better job last episode, and that's continuing here. Oliver again now can't find much room. Telvin Smith is there, and he's stopped after a minimal pickup. 3rd and 5. And McKenzie doesn't see the rush in coming. He gets taken down, and the Jaguars are able to rebound well on defense after a terrible first drive. The Texans were fortunate enough to add a special teams touchdown, so a 14-7 lead as McKenzie's still in trouble, and he just gets rid of this one. But the Jaguar defense is starting to get pressure and clamp down on the running game. There's a slant to Malcolm Riley. He makes the reception, and they get 13 yards. Can they regain their rhythm? Off the fake, here's McKenzie rolling. He takes the deeper option. There's Malcolm Riley once again, giving them a 1st down to the Jaguar 36-yard line. After a couple quiet games, Riley's back with a big one here in week 16. And then McKenzie with the edge, pressure, rolling out again, forced to get rid of it. Trying not to take too many sacks, McKenzie keeps them in field goal range. 3rd and 4, and a 1st down to Hopkins on the outside. They get back to the red zone for the first time since that opening possession. On 1st down, James Starks gets a carry, and he gets good yardage, about 6 yards on that one. Another 3rd down for McKenzie, and here's the pressure, and McKenzie takes the hit. There's the completion to Jalen Strong as they make it goal to go. Trying to make it a 2-score game. Here's McKenzie against the blitz. Hill is open, and he muscles into the end zone for a Houston touchdown as they take a 2-score lead against their rivals. The Texans just needed to win this game to clinch the AFC South. Can they hang on? It's the 4th quarter, 11-point lead. McKenzie rolls out, and there's Jalen Strong once again, finding himself much more involved in the offense as of late. Now at their own 40. Nobody open. McKenzie rolling, now running out of time, and forced to get rid of it yet again. Another throwaway. And we'll go to 3rd and 12, a key down for this Jacksonville defense. McKenzie spreads the field. There's pressure, and Strong has the catch, but he will not get the 1st down. So another key stop. But what do the Jaguars do? Not a whole lot. Back with the football, still up by 11. And McKenzie has an open man. This time it is DeAndre Hopkins for about 17. They could end the game on this drive if they can keep converting. There's a first down pass to Brandon Oliver out of the backfield as they run the clock inside 3 minutes. Now approaching the 2-minute warning. 2nd and 6. Wide open once again. It's Oliver. And he moves the chains and stays in bounds. Less than 2 minutes to go. 3rd down again for Houston. And who does McKenzie look for? It's Oliver once again with his 3rd conversion on the drive. All of them receiving. Then a handoff for Oliver for good measure. He moves the chains yet again. Great job closing this game out for Brandon Oliver as the Texans clinch the AFC South with their 9th straight victory. Just one more game until the postseason, and this team has been rolling for quite some time. Andy is taking care of the football. He has so many options in the passing game, and now all of a sudden the running backs are contributing more than they ever have throughout this series. Things are going very well for Houston, and they're now 1 game away from a 10-game winning streak. There are the numbers for Andy in this one. 75% completion, 1 more touchdown, no interceptions, putting them at 11-4. They're still competing for that top seed in the AFC and will need to get a win against the Cardinals to do it. So let's jump into this matchup. The 7-8 Arizona Cardinals come to Houston for the final game of this regular season. Let's jump into the Texans' opening possession. It is 2nd and long for Andy McKenzie. He faces the rush, and there is Malcolm Riley, who's laid out by Patrick Peterson. That's good for a gain of 6. 3rd down, they blitz the safety, and McKenzie takes the short option to Josh Hill, and that wasn't the right choice, but Peterson with the face mask gives the Texans an automatic 1st down. Now at their own 46, a 3rd down later in the drive. 1st down here to Josh Hill as they move the sticks inside of field goal range. They're trying to get off to another fast start, and here is Oliver to the outside following Fisher Roberts. I like the spin move there. And he gets them down to the 23. 1st down and 10. There's the rush. McKenzie lost the football. And there go the Cardinals. Scooped up out of midair. And it ends up being an Arizona touchdown. What a turn of events here in the opening drive for Houston. They had another promising start as they tend to create. But there's the hit. A fortunate hop off the defender for Arizona. And an easy touchdown. How do the Texans follow that up? McKenzie goes back to the air and Fisher Roberts has about 5 yards as they go 3rd down and 4 from their own 42-yard line. And the pressure's there again. McKenzie nearly sacked. He just gets rid of it, but that's the end of another possession. Let's go into their next drive later in the 1st quarter. A 1st and 20 after a holding call, and that gets knocked down over the middle as McKenzie tried to float it in and couldn't connect with DeAndre Hopkins. Then the very next play, 2nd and 20. McKenzie on target this time as he connects with Malcolm Riley, and they move the chains. Trying to get back in scoring range. McKenzie goes to the outside, and that is complete. Hopkins against Patrick Peterson, 1st down. They continue passing as McKenzie on 1st and 10 connects with Jalen Strong, and that puts them inside the 15-yard line. At the 6-yard line, they want the bubble screen here, and it's Jalen Strong again, and he picks up the 1st down, making it 1st and goal at the 1. They failed on 1st and goal. Here is 2nd, off the fake, rolling left, up for Roberts, and he can't come down with it, making it 3rd and goal. And now they go empty shotgun. McKenzie back to pass, and knocked away from Malcolm Riley as the Cardinals get that big fumble recovery touchdown, and then a goal line stand the next drive. Later in the 1st half, 10-3 Arizona. McKenzie sees an option deep. Riley lays out but can't come away with it. Then it's 3rd and 6 for Andy. And this time he's got Jaron Kreiner, and we saw him last episode make a big catch. Actually, a couple of them. 2nd down for McKenzie, and in tight coverage he finds Malcolm Riley again against Tyrann Mathieu. They're down to the 31. With 1:17 on the clock, now they go play action. McKenzie bootlegs right. He sees a man open, and Hopkins has the touchdown! Perfect throw from Andy, and DeAndre Hopkins gets both feet down as the Texans tie the game. Now we go into the second half, still tied as McKenzie looks to now give the Texans their first lead in this game. And there's Hopkins again with first down yardage. Play action to Brandon Oliver, and McKenzie rolls out, wide open, nobody covering Josh Hill, and they get the first down. Again, they find themselves in field goal range. Now back to the ground game, and Brandon Oliver, bouncing off tackles, works his way outside, another one! And still they can hardly bring him down until like the 5th defender gets there. At the 26, fake to Oliver. McKenzie sliding outside the pocket again, this time he'll run. And there is the first down as they enter the red zone again. First down and 10. McKenzie again rolling outside. Nobody open. Tries the redirect and goes back to the middle. Here's Josh Hill. And they somehow get a first down off of this. A gain of 12 actually. Not bad. At the 7, first and goal. McKenzie puts it up and it's knocked away from DeAndre Hopkins. A lot of defenders in that area. Third and goal. McKenzie back to pass. He throws down the middle, and the Cardinals hold again. Jalen Strong stopped at the 2. Texans add 3, and they're now leading as we jump forward late third quarter. McKenzie in trouble, and he nearly gives up 2 points to the Cardinals, whose defense has been really impressive in this game. Not trying to avoid the safety, they do that, as Oliver takes them to the 10, but that's it for that possession. Thankfully, the Cardinals quickly turned it over. Texan ball at the 38-yard line, but McKenzie gets dropped back at the 43-yard line by Nick Fairley, who caused a lot of issues there in the middle in this game. Oliver on second and long didn't make things any easier for 3rd and 17. Texans go empty. There's pressure, and McKenzie can't get the throw off in time. Nick Fairley yet again. They waste great field position, and the Cardinals get a big pass to Ace Sanders, and they tie the game at 13 apiece. Here is the next Texans possession. Game tied at 13, and there is a flag on this Brandon Oliver run, and a holding call will back them up as they flag Dwayne Brown. First down and 18. McKenzie to the air, facing pressure. He has to dodge it again. He's going to float this up deep, one-on-one, and Hopkins comes down with it. A simultaneous catch. Somehow McKenzie made this throw in the first place, but then Hopkins does this. Allen Ball couldn't wrestle it away, and the Texans get down in the field goal range. 3rd and 9. McKenzie stands tall and floats this over the top. Josh Hill inside the 5. What a turnaround on this possession. First and goal from the 2. To the end zone and picked off. Andy McKenzie intercepted by Shiloh Kao with less than 4 minutes to go here in week 17. They had the field spread out. McKenzie wanted Jalen Strong, and he really just quit on his route here. He ran an in and stopped. Therefore, the Cardinals get the interception, and they are able to drive down here with not much time remaining against a very good Houston defense. Big 27-yard pass, and they take the lead. To extend the winning streak to 10, they have to pull off this comeback. Less than a minute and a half to go as Starks begins them with a 9-yard check down. 2nd down and 1, approaching the 60-second mark. There's a first down pass complete as Jalen Strong comes through this time. They're out to their own 38, still 2 timeouts left. That's complete to Strong as well as they get another 7-yard gain. Facing 2nd and 2. Down the middle, wide open DeAndre Hopkins, and they're getting closer to field goal range. 18 seconds, still 2 timeouts. Pressure this time, and McKenzie goes down back at the 49-yard line. They have to use their 2nd timeout. Now it's 3rd and 20. Pressure again, McKenzie up top. Kreiner has it knocked away, and now it's 4th and 20. All they have is one last heave to the end zone by Andy McKenzie. He floats outside the pocket, buying time, and he can't get the throw off. Nick Fairley there again. And the Texans' winning streak is snapped in week 17 after 9 straight victories. They still finish 11-5 and win the AFC South. They could not get the number 1 seed, but they did get the number 2 seed. And we'll see how that playoff picture looks here in just a moment. But a 16-13 loss as Andy McKenzie throws for 361 yards but 2 critical turnovers in opposing territory and good red zone defense by the Cardinals keep the Texans' offense from producing very many points. Here are all the playoff teams, as the Jaguars also make it, finishing 10-6 as a wildcard team, and the Dolphins make it, going 8-7-1. So we simulate on to wildcard weekend, and here are all the results. The Giants beat the Panthers, the Jaguars lose to the Steelers, the Seahawks lose to the Lions, and the Miami Dolphins beat the Buffalo Bills. That means in the divisional round, Andy McKenzie and the Houston Texans will face the Pittsburgh Steelers for a spot in the AFC title game. This will be a one-game episode, of course, and we'll see how the Texans are able to do after a loss here in Week 17. And that episode will be out shortly. Thank you all for watching. Please leave your feedback down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the divisional round playoff game with Andy McKenzie and the Houston Texans facing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you then.